Everybody, welcome to a special on the road Denver After Dark. I don't have my bourbon with me, but I do have some smart water. I don't know if that actually takes the place of bourbon, but cheers. You're not really supposed to cheers with water, but I don't care because it's my show and I do what I want. So I want to talk about something really quick. It's been amazing the number of followers that I've gotten over the past week or so. Just sort of stunning. Where I get up into the top, 75, now top 70 as I get more and more popular on the political side because I'm here to tell you the truth. I'm here to give you facts. I'm here to do the Denver After Dark thing. But I want to talk about a word I made up. It's Fantescalation, fantasy escalation. And there was something that happened over the last couple of days that I've noticed with some comments that I've been getting in some DMs and private messages were asking me to start to investigate things. So listen, at the risk of making some people angry, I'm going to just drop some facts and truth here, and I'd love to get your comments on this. Here we go. January 6th was not a stolen election. November 2020 was not a stolen election. I think everybody in data can agree with that. I think the 780 plus million Fox judgment is proof of that. I think the fact that Newsmax and far-right institutions and media outlets had to settle with companies like Dominion, like Smartmatic. I think when we look at the data specifically, as Chris Krebs said, the actual director of CISA at the time, who's now being targeted by Donald Trump, it was one of the safest and most secure elections in our history. That was the 2020 election. I have another thing that I know that many conspiracy theorists might be a little bit angry about is that the CIA did not have John F. Kennedy Jr. killed. JFK was not killed by the CIA. Now everybody's like, well, Denver, it's possible. Well, there's a difference between possible and probable, right? There's possibilities and probabilities. It's possible the 2020 election was stolen, but it's not probable. It's possible JFK was killed by the CIA, but it's not probable. So I'm going to go over two other things that aren't probable. The 2024 election wasn't stolen. Yeah, that's what I'm getting. DMs and people asking me with my background in cyber and forensics and the teams that I can build. In fact, I was Air Force intelligence. I worked in the NSA. I was the J6 senior technical advisor. They want me to find out how the election was stolen in 2024. It didn't happen. It's too hard. There's a book you need to read called Debunked. You can go look it up. But if you look at risk management or a program management way of looking at conspiracy theories, the amount of risk that tens of thousands of people would have to take or jail time and things like that, it's just too high. I even had somebody reach out and say, hey, it must be satellites that Elon Musk did it. We can prove it. No, you can't. Satellites are not changing votes. By the way, that conspiracy theory was brought to me in 2017, the first time I even thought about running for office, when somebody came up to me, a Republican, and said that in Fairfax County, Virginia, that's gone Democrat so many times, it's obvious that the white vans out there are Russian-controlled satellite vans that are changing only Republican votes in voting booths. It's ludicrous. It's insanity. Here's another thing. And the not probable. Donald Trump did not stage his assassination attempt. Stop DMing me this. Didn't happen. It's not a thing. It's ridiculous. It's ludicrous. It's not facts-based. Now, in life, as an intelligence officer, I want everybody to know there is a difference between possible and probable. That's what I want you to get out of this. If somebody brings you an argument like this, whether it's, it's going to be mostly far right, let's be honest, right? There's a hold my beer moment with nuttery and batshittery going on with MAGA, right? But the far left has their share of loons and nuts and glue sniffers. When you actually engage in an argument with somebody like this, what you want to do is you want to discuss the difference between possibilities and probabilities. And there's three things you want to ask, right? First, what's the data that you're utilizing? Number two, what's the source of that data? And number three, how did you come up with your assessment based on the sourcing and the data itself? What in your mind and what steps did you take to believe that? And you can even ask about the primary sources. So it's usually how I destroy people's arguments. If you have somebody who's a 2020 election denier arguing with somebody who's a 2024 election denier, that's like two people arguing over which type of Bigfoot actually accosted them or made off with them in an alien spaceship, right? Abductees. Listen, I wrote the book on Bigfoot belief systems. Bigfoot, it's complicated. which I was accused of so many other things that were ludicrous disinformation. But you guys know there's different types of Bigfoots too, right? There's a biological entity Bigfoot. There's a mystical Bigfoot, right? That's an interdimensional long jumper called the Quaventalur. There's the interstellar Bigfoot that comes down with the Zeta Reticulans and the Greys. And there's the Native American mythology Bigfoot, the Magic Man. And there's all the sub-beliefs underneath of that. A 2020 election denier arguing with a 2024 election denier is like a Bigfoot believer who believes that Bigfoot is an alien is arguing with somebody who believes that Bigfoot is an energy being. That's it. It's that ridiculous. It's possible that there's a Bigfoot out there, but it's not probable. So when you're talking about fantasy escalation, the thing that you need to stay away from is not to humor anybody on this ridiculousness. The 2024 election wasn't stolen. The 2020 election wasn't stolen. JFK Jr. wasn't killed by the CIA, and President Donald Trump did not stage his assassination attempt. Again, let me say it one more time. The 2020 election wasn't stolen. The 2024 election wasn't stolen. JFK Jr. was not killed by the CIA, and Donald Trump did not stage his assassination attempt. If you believe any of those things, and at some point you think you want to talk to me, leave your comments below. They are unprovable. Why? Because data and facts cannot actually support it. It just can't. Do not be like Mike Flynn. If you're arguing with somebody and they're saying that the Democrats know the election was stolen in 2024, you do not want that version, right? You don't want the far left version of a Mike Flynn or a Phil Waldron or a Rudy Giuliani or a Patrick Byrne or a Donald Trump. Everybody, thanks for listening to Denver After Dark. I hope you enjoyed this evening. Remember, fantasy escalation is what is happening right now in the Trump administration, and it's lies and conspiracy theories that usually rule the day. Don't let others who might be on the other side of the fence also use that same kind of fantasy escalation in their arguments, or we're in much more trouble than we are now because, as you know, it can get worse before it gets worse. Thanks. Enjoy. Have a great evening with your families, and let you know that Denver Riggleman is here for you. And I'm heading out to California tomorrow, and I'm still going to try to do a Denver After Dark from the San Diego area. Have a great night, everybody, and cheers. And I'll try to find some bourbon, too. Take care.